Hey everybody, Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And this is just one badass knife. This thing is so cool. I have not used it. I'm not going to use a $500 knife, but this thing is really cool. So this is the Konosuke MB Shitogami or white number 2 Gyuto 240 millimeter knife. This is just quite the package. So it comes with a burnt chestnut handle as well as a matching saya, and the saya's got a really cool thing I got to show you here. So it's nicely done. The look's great. So what's cool about this, do you see any pin there? Nope. So what's really cool about this is when you kind of push it forward a little bit and pull it down, there's a little catch there, and you pull it down and it comes out. If you see they call machi or maki here, the tang sticking there, I think it might be a bump of glue or some kind of retainer in there. It's subtle, but it catches on that little spot there, and unless you pull on it and pull, it just sits there. And so it's in there when you do that, and then when you pull the handle down just a little bit, you pull it out. It's super cool. I just want to do that all day. It's super cool. So you can see just nice lines on this saya as well, so it completes the package. So let's pull that out of there. So saya's got your Konosuke logo on there as well. So we'll set that off to the side. So this is an extremely well-crafted knife, and we'll get a close-up look at it. The core steel is Shitogami or white paper number 2. Heat treats approximately 61 Rockwell. The cladding is on either side of that core steel, you've got a softer stainless steel cladding. So it's a 3-layer construction. The cladding looks like it's a little hard to tell because you got some polish on the spine, but I don't know if it covers that or not. Looks like it might not. The weight and dimensions on these might vary a little bit. This one is 163 grams or 5.7 ounces. Edge length is about 235 millimeter or 9¼ inches on the actual edge from the tip to the chin, the back of the heel. Overall length about 398 millimeters or 15.7 inches. Spine thickness, it's a fairly thin knife. It's got a fair amount of stiffness to it, a little bit more give towards the front half, but it's fairly thin overall. About 2.75 millimeter here above the heel, and then about halfway down it's about 2¼ and it pretty much just holds that 2¼ but then you can see when the grind kicks in, boy, it thins up. Look how thin that tip is. So right there, that grind, boom, they thin that tip up very, very nicely. That's really thin, folks. It also gets nice and thin towards the edge as well. I've not used this, but this should be a great performing knife. Let's look at some more stats here. The blade height is 50.8, almost 51 on this particular one, so lots of clearance there. You can see how much clearance I've got, no problem. The handle is very unique. It's a burnt chestnut handle. It's one piece. There's no ferrule on it or anything, but it's kind of a octoval maybe. So you can see it's octagonal on the top sort of there, but then you've got that curve on the bottom. It's a fairly thin handle in terms of overall feel, but it's got a really cool feel to it. The circumference is about 71 millimeters or 2.8, and it pretty much is the same circumference all the way around. There's not much taper to it from butt end to front end, but cool looking, interesting feel to it. The construction on this is super nicely done. It's an extremely well crafted knife, as I said. Let's take a look at the overall blade. It's very matte kind of finish, and they've got kind of a gunmetal sort of gray kind of matte setup on the blade road, and then a polished core steel at the edge. This is a very striking knife in person. It's a little hard to tell, but there's some, it looks to me like chiseled kanji. It doesn't raise up a lot, but there is some chiseled kanji there. You can kind of see that. Very smooth. And this is almost like a little bit of a nishiji or pear skin finish to this. In fact, I would call it a nishiji's type or pear skin finish to it. And then you've got a kudauchi or blacksmith or KU finish over the top of that. And you've got your cutting edge steel showing, your core steel, then your matte finish on the cladding line there. So it's just a beautiful knife. They've polished and rounded the spine. They've rounded the choil area really nice. It's not polished. They've still got the kudauchi on it, but the grinds are super clean on this thing. Very, very straight blade. Just a really high quality piece of craftsmanship. Here is the edge profile. So it's kind of cool. It's got a really good versatile profile. You've got some flat at the back and a kind of a stop where you get a little bit of wiggle room there, but it kind of stops into a nice stop gently. You've got a fairly long belly, but not too aggressive. I can get right in there, and so this should be, it's not a big rocker, but you can rock it there pretty high. And it should be a great kind of general purpose profile, a little bit of flat, gentle belly, a little bit of rocking to it. So again, this is just an extremely well executed, well crafted knife, and you know, interesting addition to anybody's collection. So one more time, here's the cool stuff. So this just fits right in there nice and snug, and boop, pops in there, and there you go. Pull the handle down a little, release it. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So there you go. This is the Konosuke MB Shidogami #2 Gyuto 240mm knife.